Today we are making my red lentil sauce that we eat on pasta. The first thing we're going to do is add onions to a warm skillet. Now I will admit the skillet is a little too warm. It's actually too hot, which you're about to see, but don't worry, we can recover. Now I'm adding garlic. You can use fresh garlic or you can use minced garlic from the refrigerated section. As you can see, this is how you can tell my pan was too hot. It started sticking immediately. It's no big deal. I just stir it around because I actually like it to get that little bit of sear on it. And this is going to be an easy fix. I did turn down my skillet and now I'm pouring in water. The water is going to be really sizzly and there's going to be a lot of steam, but that's no big deal. So just stir everything around, make sure nothing is sticking, and all of that extra water is going to cook itself out very soon. Now my skillet is warm in the middle, and then the bottom inch around the edge doesn't get as warm. So I like to keep everything scooted in. I added some Italian seasoning here, and I'm about to add a little bit of salt. You'll also notice that on the left corner there's an elapsed cooking time, so you can see when I jump forward so you know how much time is passing. Okay, so we've let the onions and the garlic cook, and now we are adding our red lentils. Now these lentils they're basically the base of the sauce. I also added about a tablespoon of tomato paste and some veggie broth. You can add water, you can add whatever kind of broth that you prefer, but I just mixed up some broth with some broth powder. And now I want to mix everything in. Mostly I'm going to try to make sure that tomato paste is kind of mixed in well. You'll notice later that I forgot to add my tomato sauce here. So man, I started with a too hot pan and everything started to burn, and now I forgot an ingredient. Come on people, what's wrong with me? Well, let me just encourage you that if you make mistakes in the kitchen and forget to add ingredients, you can usually overcome it as well. It's not that big of a deal. So now I'm just going to put the lid on and I am going to let it simmer. And you can tell that minute jump, it starts simmering really well. This is a really quick recipe, so you definitely want to be paying attention to it. So as it simmers, a minute later, it's even simmering even better. You can see on my pot that the middle is going really good, but around the edge, it just doesn't conduct the heat as well. So I like to just check on mine every once in a while and make sure everything is getting stirred in. Now, after that initial meeting with the garlic and the pan being too hot, I haven't had another problem with anything sticking the whole time I'm cooking this recipe. So I just like to check on it. Oh, there's that tomato sauce I forgot about earlier. You know, if you are using tomato sauce, it'll work perfect. If you have a jarred sauce that you prefer to use or homemade, that's totally fine here. This recipe is very versatile, and as you can tell, it's pretty hard to mess it up. So if you forget something, add it later. Now I'm just going to put the lid back on and let it simmer. I will check on it every once in a while, but for the most part, it's just doing its thing. Don't forget to start cooking your pasta during this time, because very soon we are going to use some of the pasta water and stir that in. So one of the beautiful things about these red lentils is they just kind of break down, kind of like oats. If you're using rolled oats, how it kind of turns into like a mushy oatmeal, the same thing happens here. And so one of the options you can do is take some of the lentils out while it's still kind of in this more textured chunky-ish phase, and you don't have to do this. You can leave it all in. It's easier to leave it all in, but I just thought I would try it this way because I was taking pictures and I wanted to make sure you could see some of the texture. After you take some of them out, just set them aside. They are cooked enough. You can taste test it and see if you want to add any more spices or whatever. But now I'm just going to add a little bit of pasta water. And this is just this kind of starchy water that I had from cooking the noodles. And now I'm just going to kind of stir it all in and give these lentils a chance to break down. And remember, my pot doesn't conduct heat the best, so I'm just making sure I scrape everything off the sides so that everything continues to cook. And I mean, you could eat the sauce right now as is, and it would be done in less than 20 minutes. But I'm just gonna let it cook a little longer. I'm just kind of mashing the lentils around. And for you at home, you can add more pasta water, you could add more tomato sauce, you could add diced tomatoes. You can really do whatever you want. Let's give this a taste test. And let's see. Yep, we like it. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is just scoop some of this onto our pasta that we cooked. And these are just whole wheat noodles. You can get as much as you want. I'm about to go take a picture of this bowl or this plate so that you can see it, see the finished product. And there we go. So I hope you love this recipe.